Hello students, welcome to Epitomeias. We are discussing what is Indian Constitution, okay? And we have discussed what is the definition of the state. We discussed what is the purpose of the Constitution and also differentiated what is polity, constitution and governance. In today's class, let us understand what are the functions of the Constitution. Functions of the Constitution. Because Indian Constitution is attached with certain functions. In fact, the making of the Constitution or enforcement of the Constitution is not out of the context. Definitely it is within the context. What was the context? The context especially after liberation of India from British rule. Liberation of India from British rule. So when India got liberated from British, because in the last video we have discussed that India was required to address the issues within the society. Within the society. So in other words, the Constitution of India must be contributing to the nation building process. Nation building process. Why? Because Indian society is so diverse society, heterogeneous society. Heterogeneity can be seen not only in terms of caste, religion, gender, even with respect to regions also it is highly diverse. So this kind of diverse society, diverse territory has to be consolidated in the form of a complete nation. There must be a sense of brotherhood among the people. There must be a sense of bonding among the people. There must be a peaceful coexistence among the people. And collectively this nation has to achieve something greater good for the people. So in that process, the Constitution has to perform certain. Okay, so let us see what kind of functions the Constitution actually performs. First and foremost important function is coordinating function. The function of coordination. So generally any question of coordination generally arises when the society is diverse. In the process of making of the Constitution, in the topic of evolution of the Constitution, we will be discussing many issues. All those issues which I am going to give as an example. For example, you take in 1927, Simon Commission was appointed. The Simon Commission made an all India entourage. So it has toured all across the country. Why? Because the British government has given a mandate to the Simon Commission to recommend a better constitution to the country. So when such examination or when such investigation or consultation in fact was made by the Simon Commission, it also met Naga tribal group. Naga tribal group has told Simon Commission, sir, we are speakers of non-Urdu and non-Hindi. We speak a language which is different from that of the Muslims and Hindus. We worship the natural forces which are different from that of the Muslims as well as Hindus. Moreover, our food habits are quite diverse. Suppose we consume pork, which is hated by Muslims. We consume cow meat, which is also hated by Hindus, because cow is holy animal for Hindus. So they have demanded we want a separate nation. In fact, this Naga tribal group, yes, it has made such kind of demand in front of Simon Commission. But other tribal groups also were having the similar kind of aspirations. Why? Because there was no proper cohesion, or you can say proper adhesion to the Indian mainstream. In this context, the Constitution has to bring all these diverse communities together and has to maintain the harmony and peaceful coexistence. That particular aspect is satisfied by which function? Coordination function. So it means you try to understand the diversity and you must ensure the harmonious life of the various sections of the population. Okay, that function is called as coordination. For example, how the coordination is brought about. So as I told you in the last class, the citizens, every citizen of India, okay, has been granted with certain rights. Okay, we call them as fundamental rights. Why? Because these are mentioned under part 3 of the Constitution. So fundamental rights means, first of all, what is the meaning of right? Right means ability to make choice. That is called as right. If you are able to make any choice whichever you like, that is called as right. Or rights can also be understood as the authority of a person over himself. That is also right. You are securing bodily autonomy, you are able to ensure your own independence, okay, independent existence. That is also right. So such kind of rights are mentioned in the part 3 of the constitution, and these are called as fundamental rights. I will explain later, okay. And despite your given rights, right to lead your life, despite giving such rights, the rights are not absolute. The rights are not absolute. Not absolute in the sense, you can't enjoy your rights in an unlimited manner. You can't exercise or enjoy your rights while harming the interests of the fellow citizens. So you need to enjoy your rights without harming or without violating the rights of your fellow citizens. That is why the rights under the Constitution of India are not absolute in nature. So it means your freedom will be ending at the tip of my nose. So that's how you need to understand. So that's why in the Constitution of India, we can see what is it? Reasonable restrictions over the rights of the people. Reasonable restrictions. So restrictions are available against the rights enjoyed by the individual, so that he shall not be misusing his rights, which may be harming the interest of the fellow citizens. For example, you take Article 19 Class 1 Subclass A promotes a kind of civil liberty where a citizen has the free speech and expression. He can speak, he can express his opinion, he has the power to influence the opinion of others. Okay, he can influence the governmental decision also. Yes, he has that particular capacity, but he has to exercise this right within the confines of Article 19 Class 2. So Article 19 Class 2 mentions certain reasonable restrictions. For example, sovereignty, unity, integrity, okay, security of state, contempt of the court, public order, decency, morality, incitement to offence. You understand? So it means my free speech and expression shall not be hurting the interest of others. It means I can't incite the violence against other fellow citizens. I can't be making any speech which may be disrupting the public order. Okay, I shall not be speaking anything which may be inviting the contempt of the court. I shall not be speaking anything which may be compromising the sovereignty, integrity and security of the state. So that's how your fundamental rights are kept under the reasonable restrictions. That's why we are saying these are not absolute in nature. So suppose when I am not allowed to hurt the sentiments of others, suppose I have the freedom of religion, I can practice my own religion, but I can profess, I can practice as well as I can propagate my religion, but I cannot make a kind of wrong allegations against the fellow citizens' religion. So that's how the constitution will be ensuring coordination, because how the coordination is possible? Okay, how coordination is possible? Coordination is possible because every citizen has been given equal rights, or you can say similar rights. Every citizen has been given similar rights. At the same time, every citizen has to exercise his rights under similar, okay, restrictions. Okay, the same rights are there and same restrictions are there. So it means there are rules. So the rules which are mentioned in the constitution, which shall be observed commonly by everyone. So it means everyone will be equally protected and everyone is equally punished. Everyone is equally protected and everyone is equally punished. That's how the constitution is ensuring coordination. So this is how the first important function we can understand. Similarly, let us take another example. For example, Article 25 is there. Okay, 25 Class 1. Okay, it is giving right the freedom, conscience, practice, profess, and propagate religion. Okay, propagate religion. But of course, I will explain all these rights when I deal with fundamental rights. Conscience means he can build his own relationship with God. He can define his relationship with God. He can imagine, he can perceive the God in any form. That is what called conscience. And practice means following the religious rituals, ceremonies, and expressing the belief system in any given practice. Okay, suppose if you take Ayyappa Swami Diksha, that is what practicing religion. Okay, if you perform any ritual at your home, that is also practicing religion. So that's how. Profess means declaring the values of your religion. Profess. Similarly, propagation means you are able to spread the religious values from one person to another person. That's how every individual is having such freedom. But such freedom is subjected to public order and morality. Health, public order and morality. Okay, using this particular thing, you cannot violate the or harm the health of the others. For example, Deepavali crackers. In Delhi, Supreme Court has imposed ban on users of firecrackers, especially because the Diwali festival is celebrated during the time of winters. And Delhi climate is in such a way that in the winter season it will become a kind of a gas cylinder, so that air movement is very limited, the wind movement is very limited, and the gas will be located there itself. That causes huge air pollution. So your practicing of religion is subjected to health. So that's how. Similarly, there was a case regarding Ananda Margis. So generally, Ananda Margis were ardent followers of Lord Shiva, and they perform a nritya, a dance, a special dance called as a Tandava Nritya. And where this Tandava Nritya is performed, in the streets, in the public places, that too in the midnight. They wear human skulls as garland, and with the naked bodies, they will be celebrating this particular dance. That is what Tandava Nritya, with very horrible drum beat. This particular activity was banned by Calcutta Police Commissioner, and this was challenged in the Supreme Court, because yesterday I told you, when the fundamental rights are violated, you can directly go to Supreme Court or High Court. Supreme Court has Supreme Court has supported the ban on this Tandava Nritya. Why? Because it is violating what? Public order. You just understand. In the midnight, if some dance is performed with horrible drum beat, means what will happen? That definitely harms the health of the people, because nowadays people are dying from non-communicable diseases. 65% of the deaths are due to non-communicable diseases. Apart from that, health of the people is being disturbed, of course, and the public order. If that kind of disturbance is sustained for a long time, people will take the law into their own hands. That may be causing violence. And moreover, morality, because especially the children will be deprived of the proper environment to know what is right and what is wrong. So there is a chance that people may get perverted. So that's how your freedom of faith is subjected to reasonable restrictions. So if everybody is imposed with these common rules, yes, you are Hindu, you are Muslim, you are Christian, any religion you may be belonging to, okay, you are imposed with the same kind of rules and same kind of restrictions. Same kind of rights are endowed and same kind of restrictions are imposed. So that's how everybody will be observing common set of rules and regulations. In that process, that will be minimizing the conflict. Otherwise, what will happen? Definitely there is a question. Okay, what is that question? Who is superior and who is inferior? For example, during the freedom struggle, there was an RSS leader, okay, called as Govalkar. Govalkar has a appeal to Indian Muslims. Okay, what was his appeal? You Muslims, you can stay in India, you can live in India, but you must be respecting the cultural and religious values and practices of Hindus. So it means, despite you might be Muslims, but culturally you must be Hindus. Religiously you are Muslims, but culturally you must be Hindus. So it means there was an effort on part of the RSS and Hindu right-wing organizations to homogenize. What is that? To homogenize the Indian culture. Homogenization means ensuring every person having same cultural practices and same religious practices. That is what called as homogenization. So in other words, this particular communalism is leading to dilution of, because you want everybody to be looking alike, everybody to be practicing alike. So that kind of endeavors are strictly prohibited by the constitution. Why? Because constitution is same for everybody. Constitution neither favor Hindus nor Muslims nor any other religion, because our constitution follows secularism. Okay, where the state will be treating every religion equal. Okay, state has no official religion. State treats every religion equal. So that's how we are able to see what is that function? Coordination function. Okay, I think you got to know what is the meaning of coordination. Coordination means ensuring peaceful coexistence by imposing common rules and regulations on every section of population. Okay, everybody will be getting equal protection and everybody will be equally punished in case of violation. So that's how we are able to see coordination function, right? Next, coming to number 2. What is number 2? The constitution establishes limited government. The constitution establishes limited government. You must understand whether state is natural or is it created by human being. I am asking you whether state is natural or creation of human being. Okay, right? So naturally, what should be your answer? State is not at all natural. Okay, it is the creation of human being. Why human being has created this particular state? Yesterday in the yesterday's video we have discussed. Okay, the human beings have created the state in order to get a good life. Okay, to facilitate a prosperous life, to enjoy a peaceful coexistence in the society, right? So that state, what must be the functioning of that state? Okay, in what sense, in what direction the state must be functioning? Okay, so it means in that context, would you maximum role or minimum role in the society? Okay, how the state role must be. For example, I am asking you whether the state shall be having limited powers or unlimited powers, whether the state should be having minimal role or maximum role. For example, you may consume non-vegetarian on every day. Okay, right? So whether the state can regulate your consumption of non-vegetarian food, you wear a particular color of shirt on daily basis. Okay, whether the state has any objection, you want to live in some area of the country, whether the state can restrict your residence. So these are certain fundamental questions. To what extent the state must be having powers? Okay, to what extent the state's powers are permitted? Okay, the Constitution of India establishes only limited space for the state. What is it? Limited space. State is not given absolute power. State is not given any kind of absolute power. You take North Korean state,